Nobody in a human body, in any kind of body at all, is unfeeling. Everybody has the capacity for greater sensitivity. I know some of us maybe we have thicker skins, or so to speak, but um, it's still skin. It's still you're still human. You still feel. And feeling is something that goes beyond the body as well. It's energetic, it's vibratory, it's spiritual, if you want to say it like that. It's just, to feel is just it's like a spontaneous affirmation of your connection to all things. The fact that you are feeling anything is the fact that you are connected to all things. Because that's essentially what feeling is. We may not realize that what you're feeling in your body right now is the vibratory flux of the entire earth. It's the vibratory flux of the entire cosmos. It's the vibratory flux of the entire universe in some way or another. Maybe we expect that to be like if we were to be at that level of connectivity, maybe we would expect that to be like this grandiose thing that's like with fireworks and angels and exploding auroras of color and all this kind of thing, but it's just right where you are also. I mean, it can be all those things. Everybody experiences things differently. And, you know, certainly in dream time, the dream realm, even somebody who maybe doesn't have really grand, quote unquote, mystical experiences still may have some interesting experiences in dreams and things like that. So, um, just to feel itself is really so magical. It's so connected. It's so, you know, um, something not to be taken for granted, I would say. It's a very powerful, again, affirmation. That's the word that feels right to use right now. Affirmation, because it's kind of like you're affirming something. When you allow yourself to feel, it's like you're affirming that the universe, what the universe is offering you, because the universe wants you to feel. The intelligence behind creation is motivating you in this way. It wants you to feel. It wants you to experience what it is that you're experiencing. It wants you to, whether that's a pleasurable experience or a painful experience or something in between. Because, when we talk about healing, what is it? You can't heal what you're not willing to feel, it's a saying. And what's a really powerful way to heal things is by sitting with something that's uncomfortable and not running away from it and not trying to cope with it or trying to cover it up because those are mechanisms that keep the wound alive. And so, what is it to feel in general? Is to feel that connection with life. So, if you're feeling, allowing yourself to feel, it's almost like saying allowing yourself to feel the connectivity to all life is what's healing you. Affirming that, allowing yourself to be in that spontaneous affirmation of life as it unfolds. It's not a concept. It's not a thought. The thoughts and concepts are part of the unfolding, but they don't encompass the unfolding any more than the waves on the ocean can encompass the ocean. An expression of the ocean and are natural. They're meant to be here without concepts and thoughts and the ability to articulate. The spontaneous moment right now could not take the shape of this message because thoughts and concepts are being used. They're part of the way that the energy is being conveyed. But they're just kind of maybe they're like packages, you know. They give it to you in a package, and so you can unwrap it in your own mind and see what kind of gift it offers you. So that's the fun thing about it. Because it takes shape and because it takes form, and because the thoughts and concepts are here to carry the energy, to carry the conveyance, you then have the opportunity to interpret this message, to interpret anything you experience in your own unique way. And it's that's such a fundamental kind of cornerstone of this experience is that ability to experience life in your own unique way. to get to know yourself, and it all comes back to that feeling what it's like to be you. Because that's like again, that's affirming the spontaneous moment. That's affirming the connectivity to all things everywhere. And in doing that, you also are aware of your own place in it all too. But allowing yourself to feel who you are, you allow yourself to find your place in it all because then what comes naturally to you is what comes naturally to you if you allow it to, if you don't run away from it. Because we can get in our minds a lot and we can say that what you are being guided and what you're being asked and what just is natural for you to do, you can get into our minds about it and say, well, I don't want to do that because yada, yada, yada. You know, a lot of things that we would rather be doing with our time that we don't allow ourselves to do because somebody at some point in time told us it wasn't good to do, or it wasn't going to help you, or it wasn't going to help you get by, it wasn't going to help you survive, you're going to get laughed at, it's going to hurt, it's going to do blah, 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 blah. And it's just people, they probably have their hearts in the right place most of the time. Some people are obviously just trying to troll you and get you to doubt yourself because that makes them feel better about themselves. But generally, most of this guidance comes from people who love us, and are trying to be, trying to guide us in a more elderly kind of, teacher kind of capacity. But at the same time, we do have to weigh that advice and that guidance that we receive. We have to weigh that against the emanations of our own heart. We have to weigh that against the spontaneity of self, our own self unfolding, our own willingness to feel what it is to be ourselves and to acknowledge who we are, what we are. And, so it's like, just do the things that I've been told and the things that maybe work for others. Maybe they don't work for others. Does it work for me, however? If you expect me to do this or you're telling me that I should do this, well, does that really work for me? Is it really healthy for me to do that? And if the answer is no, then, I really have to, that's, again, getting to know myself gives me the courage to step forward in that capacity. And that's where it's really important to be sensitive to ourselves, and they say, sometimes you may hear it said that sensitivity is a superpower. And, it really is in a lot of ways. And I feel also so much strength comes from the willingness to feel. That's really what this sensitivity can offer you. So I would say it is a superpower. And, that's just one of the many, many benefits of being sensitive. Courage, motivation, inspiration. It's not because it doesn't have to just be about overcoming challenges. It can be celebrating too. It can be about celebrating right where you are. Creativity comes to life, more joyousness, more of that childlike spontaneity and wonderment that we so often loved as a child. That's an offer all the time. And we don't, and sometimes we overlook that because we're not willing to be sensitive enough to really allow it to come to the surface. Because, childhood is a very sensitive stage in our life. And there's a reason why the child is so open to life because they are sensitive to it. They can't help but be sensitive to it. So there is a degree where you open up to that sensitivity and allow that freshness of life to move through you. Then it's almost like you have a second childhood in a way. It's like a childlike renaissance of new inspirations, new wonderment. And but at the same time you have all the wisdom and the practical kind of logistical thinking of adulthood. So it's actually I find it's the best of both worlds, really. And I would honestly, when somebody says you're acting like a child or hmm, maybe that's a compliment. It doesn't have to be such a bad thing. Because again, it comes back to spontaneity, joy, freshness, wonderment, healthiness, happiness. There's nothing wrong with any of that. So With that said, this message has been my joy to share today. I hope that wherever you're tuning in from, it touches your heart and opens you up to life as it unfolds. And if you would have any stories or inspirations you'd love to share, please leave them in the comments section. Please, if you want to like the video or share it with anybody who you feel would benefit from this message, feel free to do so. But as always, you're not obligated to do such things. It is your freedom to choose is the most important thing. And that's all about getting to know yourself, being sensitive to yourself, and seeing what is right for you. So thank you for tuning in. And until next time, stay blessed. Thank you.